It's time for the amazing damage that is Schaltar. We just pulled him in a video last week, and then we just pulled Sutha in a video just a few days ago. Go check those out. Really fun summon videos that we did on stream. Now we're going to go over just what Schaltar can do. He's an epic lightning champion that's a lot like Total Nan. Total Nan's a fire single target damage dealer that just does insane legendary type single target damage. Schaltar can do insane single target damage, plus it does amazing AoE damage as well. We just need somebody to do lots of hits. Dauntless to do lots of hits after he does his ultimate. Once that happens, you're just going to see all these numbers pop up. Kind of hard to tell here. This is just a speed run at in-game going through heretical runes. You can do speed runs at in-game with a whole bunch of different kind of combinations, so it's kind of fun to play with it, but don't do this as progression. Coming up, Schaltar really isn't like a progression hero. Really good for the Vortex boss as far as progression goes coming up, but to get through dungeons, no. You don't want to use them in this kind of fashion right here. You want to use them later on once you've got your elemental advantage, your affinity advantage kind of ranked out. All that additional damage, 15% less damage we're taking. Then you come in here and you have some fun with some speed runs. The Vortex boss, where he really shines, once he pops off his ultimate, look for the white numbers. That's the derivative damage. All of his moves are derivative damage. We're going to show the gear at the end. We're just going to show like one more fight against the dragon, and then we're going to show all of his gear. We'll talk about Nimbus and his gear, Sutha, the whole entire team. Look at the white numbers. Constant white numbers. Going. All that derivative damage. So again, we want somebody that hits a lot. We need Dauntless that hit multiple times on their ultimates right after he does his ultimate. We've got Sutha in here doing 10 hits on her ultimate right after. And then we've got Nimbus doing, I don't even know how many hits. A crazy amount of hits. The more speed we have on him, attack speed, the more hits he's going to do on his ultimate. And it's a lot. He's a really good hero. We've got him equipped right now with the decreased defense with our witches remain, so he's not doing as much damage as Sutha. Although, if we did have him geared properly, he could do a little bit less than Sutha. He's not crazy. He doesn't do the crazy damage that both of these are doing, that Sutha and Schaltar. I mean, look at Schaltar right now. But Nimbus can do good single target damage. So you don't really need to level him up unless you're using Schaltar. I don't think there's any area that I would level Nimbus up to bring him in just to do single target damage alone. Schaltar, yes, because then he can just really go crazy. We're going to skip forward so we can get to the next battle just so you can see the numbers. Look at him jump up. Schaltar is just going to keep going. He's up at 10 million now. Sutha's coming up on 7 million. 49.1% damage done by Schaltar. We've got 33.8 over there with Sutha, and then 13.6 with Nimbus. Now again, Nimbus can do better, but nowhere near the legendaries, nowhere near Schaltar. He's just a single target damage dealer that really enables us with Schaltar because he does so many hits whenever he does his ultimate. That's what we're looking for. Let's get to the in-game dragon. There's this setup. We just kind of have everybody sprawled out so they can do their single target damage. We get a little AoE arc lightning in there with Schaltar as well whenever he does his ultimate, whenever he procs like his passive ability. We'll read over all of that in a minute. We're just going to do a lot of damage. It's going to be the same setup that we had before. We're coming in here. We're getting the decreased defense with Nimbus. Schaltar is already activated by then. Then we have, once we have that decreased defense up, we've got Sutha coming in to do her ultimate. And we're just going to keep going. Are we going to keep going? 20 million. Is he going to do 49% of the damage overall on this boss? I don't think so. I think Sutha kinda is doing pretty well. I don't know why she'd be doing better. It's the same exact setup. We've got the same kind of rotation going on. He's at 45%, Sutha at 35.8. So pretty close to what we had before, and we're going to end this out almost at 70 million. Team alternatives, if you're looking to play your Schaltar, Nimbus, and crew, you can obviously bring in somebody besides Mithracy. This is a really strong legendary. Bring in your Catherine. She's an epic. She can block debuffs just like she does here and give us some heals. If you have Nathaniel, he's a lightning-based epic that removes the debuffs, gives you heal over time, plus gives your team some pretty good shields. Really good support. I really like Nathaniel, and I'm actually enjoying Catherine more now since we need more blocking of those debuffs. She's a really strong epic as well that you can bring in place of her. I know you keep seeing her. You also see the Hourglass. Not mandatory. You're not going to do as much damage as I'm doing, of course, but you'll still do insane damage. If you don't have Sutha, if you don't have a Nimbus, you can always bring in some other rares that do a lot of attacks on their ultimate. I think Yagnats is really the only one. He does 3 additional attacks on his ultimate. There aren't many others. That's why we're bringing in this guy. So many attacks. We've got Witch's Remains on him. If you don't have that, use the Crown. We're trying to get some attack speed on him if you can. I've got attack, crit rate. We've got attack again, and then accuracy so we can land this debuff. The more speed he has, the more attacks he's going to do on this ultimate. Plus, he gets an attack speed buff if you give him a buff. And if you have Nathaniel, you're giving him multiple buffs. If you have Catherine, you might be giving him some buffs. Obviously, with her, we get the heal over time, and then we get all these crazy buffs. So he's getting a lot, you know, every time he gains a buff, he's getting this additional attack speed. It doesn't double up. He's only got 50% additional attack speed from this, but it's a lot. And it's really nice to have it up before he does his ultimate so we can get even more attacks in with this. That's how we get the most damage out of him. Schaltar is the big one, right? Everybody wants to know, how am I going to build this Schaltar? All he does is derivative damage, nothing else. All derivative, so we put the ink on him. This is like the only guy that I can think of that this artifact is perfectly suited for. A lot of other heroes out there do derivative damage. Maybe they do poison damage, but they also do a lot of normal damage that you might want to crit. With this, we cannot crit at all. But since he doesn't crit, since he doesn't need to crit, he's doing everything with derivative damage, and derivative damage can't crit anyways. We hook him up with this. It's a crazy increase. I've tried him without this, and the damage is far, far less. So make sure you get this leveled up to max. We're using a Platinum Knight set. When we get that 30% additional damage for 10 seconds, it adds to all his derivative damage. Best set we can do, plus we want Enlightenment. Enlightenment here, we've got attack, and then of course, attack percentage. Don't do crit rate, don't do critical damage. Remember, we can't crit with him. It's all about that high attack along with high enlightenment. That's all you've got to do. Pretty easy. Skill books. Pretty important in a hero like this because we do get an additional chance to proc his ability if we have books. We get a chance here, 5% additional chance. This will increase our chance for our allies to be able to proc this additional damage. And when they proc that additional damage with all their attacks, it goes to his damage. You can see how high his damage is. So this is it. Set him up with the attack. You've got Enlightenment. We've got him in a Platinum Knight set along with this artifact. Sutha, I've got a pretty cool set on her. She's actually pumping out some serious critical damage. 280 critical damage, 80% chance to crit. All we really need is 70% because she gets an additional 30 on her 2 skills. But she's still got a lot of additional basic attacks going on. So I did want to get her as high as possible. Not just that 70, I wanted to get her as high as I can because every time she crits on her normal attack, she'll hit 2 times. We've got her in the horseshoe for additional critical damage, plus she gets a chance to proc this additional attack speed. We've got attack percentage here, critical damage here with a lot of crit rate substats. Crit rate substats again, look at this one, 4 hits into crit rate. Man, I wish I could keep this into next season. Then we've got attack again with attack with crit rate and critical damage. A lot of crit rate, critical damage. Good hits too. 1 into critical damage, 3 into crit rate. Some pretty nice pieces on her, making her extremely strong. And of course, everybody I've got here are all scrolled. If you've got any questions about this lineup, if you've got any questions about changing some of these heroes, join us in Discord down below. A lot of people have been joining us over there. We've got lots of different chats for all the different bosses that you're going to face all throughout Season 1. We'll do the same thing for Season 2. A lot of helpful people, so come join us. We'll be able to help you out with any questions you have. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I appreciate your time. Love the support. I can't wait to start Season 2, and I will see you all in a video soon.